The deafening roar of the train cut through the silence of dawn, echoing across the snow-covered wilderness of Montana. On the frozen tracks, a grizzly bear struggled against the chains that held her. Her eyes, full of terror, darted between her 3 trembling cubs and the approaching iron monster. As the train's vibrations grew stronger, she did something heartbreaking. She stopped fighting, gently touched each cub for the last time, and closed her eyes, accepting what seemed inevitable. James Wilson, a wildlife photographer, was there to capture the sunrise over the Bitterroot Mountains. Through his lens, he saw the impossible: a bear and her cubs chained to the tracks. Without thinking twice, he rushed down the icy slope, knowing that someone had done this on purpose. The heavy chains wrapped around the bear's neck and body, preventing her escape. The train was getting closer, and James knew there was no time to lose. With trembling hands, he used a tool to break the chains. Instead of attacking him, the bear stretched her neck, making James' work easier. When the last lock gave way, the bear broke free, grabbed one of the cubs in her mouth, and James, without hesitation, scooped up the other 2. Together, they jumped off the tracks just as the train thundered past, missing them by mere inches. On the ground, James and the cubs were safe. A few feet ahead, the bear carefully checked each of her cubs before turning to look at James. He swore he saw gratitude in her dark eyes. Before disappearing into the forest with her family, James felt anger rising inside him. Someone in his community had done this, and he knew he had to find out who. James called the authorities and then his son, Michael. He suspected Michael knew something, and the hesitation in his voice confirmed it. That morning's events were not the end of the story, just the beginning of something bigger. In the following days, James and Michael worked together to care for the bear and her cubs at the wildlife sanctuary James had built after his wife's death. The bear, whom they named Grace, slowly began to recover, and the cubs gradually lost their fear. Michael, who had been involved with a group of friends that had planned to capture bears for money, started opening up about his role in what had happened. He confessed that he had tried to stop the plan but had been threatened by Jake, the group's leader. Over time, Michael and his friends Lily and Derek took responsibility for their actions. They testified against Jake and his uncle, who were arrested for animal cruelty and illegal wildlife trafficking. Meanwhile, Grace and her cubs recovered at the sanctuary, learning to trust humans again. When the day came to release Grace and her cubs back into the wild, everyone gathered for a farewell ceremony. Michael, who had discovered a talent for drawing, presented a series of illustrations that told Grace's story, from the moment she was found to her recovery. It was an emotional moment filled with gratitude and hope. Grace and her cubs were released into a remote valley far from any human interference. As they disappeared into the forest, James and Michael knew this was not a goodbye but a new beginning. The sanctuary would continue helping other animals, and they, as a family, would move forward, forever changed by the experience. Grace's story was not just about survival, but about redemption, forgiveness, and the ability to start over, not only for the animals, but for the humans who had learned to value life and nature.